Hello, it's me. This may sound really crazy, but I'm so glad someone has led me to remember I think it was F.R. Leavis's essay criticising C.P. Snow, all about how poetry was an enclave for the individual, a little bit like in a Big Brother scenario, actually, where poetry was possibly immune from the advertisers and the repercussions and things that are entailed in the capitalist system. And I remember, like, when I had that essay came up in my Oxford entrance exam, which was taken in those days, sort of before you'd done your A levels. I recognised it. I'd read it before in my reading towards the Oxford entrance exam, and I recognised it straight away, and it was familiar to me. Now, the funny thing is, I appear to have absolutely forgotten all that later. The whole time that I was at the University of York, I went on to sort of explorations of I.A. Richards and kind of practical criticism and stuff like that, and ambiguity, a little bit. But, like, the whole of that thrust of that machine business that I've now been refamiliarized with, and I've put on the an essay on the blog here. I remember the poetry thing. I remember the poetry thing and about against advertisers thing, but I didn't remember the machine thing. But now, if the machine thing was true and I read it and absorbed it passively, kind of, or interestedly, and then forgot about it, then it actually explains quite a lot. Because when I was in the retreat, I remember absolutely banging on about the machine, or, saying I didn't want to be a machine or whatever. And like the psychiatrist was just looking at me absolutely, completely flummoxed and saying, well, what machine are you on about? And I'd forgotten possibly what machine it was that I was on about. And I remember as well that before that, I had particularly been drawn to Pink Floyd's Welcome to the Machine, and sort of all the windscreen wipers and stuff like that. And, that obviously, influenced me as well. But I also said to my psychiatrist when I was in the retreat that I was worried that Macbeth had murdered the king, Malcolm, that Malcolm had been murdered somehow by capitalism. Somehow Malcolm had been murdered. And he just went very strange on me then, because he was Scottish himself, and I think he thought he had a superstition himself about me mentioning Macbeth. But I was on about nature having all turned, a bit funny and everything, and that possibly it had to do with the fact that society had murdered Malcolm somehow. And by that I didn't mean necessarily an old-fashioned leaning towards royalty exactly, but I meant an honourability. So anyway, yeah, I'm really glad to have been reconnected with this F.R. Leavis stuff again. And I've just borrowed a book by Richard Storer about F.R. Leavis, But I would have been so much happier if I could have been given access to more of the actual essays by F.R. Leavis. So, like, I might just, in fact, yeah, I'll give I'll give the Richard Storer. I will give his book a try. Actually, I will bypass the actual horse's mouth for a second and see what this Richard Storer has to say. But I've realised how important it is to me to try and understand what may have been going on here and to reconnect with my earlier kind of interest in the subject. Okay then, bye for now, bye.